Hello, good morning. It's July 13, and I'm just chilling outside this morning, hanging out, having a little bit of quiet time before the day starts, I guess. It's a Sunday morning. Um, and today I'm feeling, oh, I just spilled some of my coffee, but good thing I'm outside. So I'm just hanging out in the backyard for a little bit today. Because going through the backyard actually has started making I've started to see parallels between where kind of the personal transformation, moving from burnout to brilliance, kind of like fits in to a lot of different things. This makes me think of that idea of as above, so below, the principle of correspondence, where different I guess the way that I interpret it is like the same patterns appear everywhere. So whether it's you're trying to improve yourself, and like if you're working on personal development, there might be some steps, and then if you're working on like landscaping, like backyard kind of cleanup and stuff, maybe the same steps apply. And I was thinking of that because our backyard has been a little bit neglected. Like you might see, it's a little bit kind of like lots of lots of plants and stuff. It's really nice. We got a lot of shade, and today is a little bit overcast, so that's nice. Um, and at the same time, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. So you may not be able to see, or maybe if you have a discerning eye, you can see from the video, but the steps of clarity, transform, and then brilliance kind of also relate to cleaning up this backyard. So, with the Haizhen transformation, when moving from burnout to brilliance, the first step is clarity. Clarity to be seen clearly. And of course, as an individual, to be seen clearly is three steps. The first step is to know what you're trying to be, what your target state is. That's where your human design comes in. That's where your energetic type, your strategy, your authority, feeling into your signature themes, and identifying when your not self themes are appearing. So then you can make adjustments and consider the different decisions that you've made. In the backyard here, clarity means understanding what this landscape is, like what is actually going on here. So what are the different types of plants? What are weeds? What are not weeds? And then like what to actually do with. I guess knowing those things will help have a strategy and a decision making kind of guide to go and start to clean up this backyard. So the first part is just kind of like understanding what you're looking at, and that's the first part of this Haizhen transformation program, is for you to get clear on who you are, to understand kind of how you can look at yourself, understand your experience, and then also understand the kind of the underlying mechanism of how you will then start to transform yourself. And the transformation part, the transform section, is actually really about letting things go, removing things, taking things out of your way. So, really removing limiting beliefs that often are the block between where we want to be and where we want to go. It's those things that are in our way, right? So, with these limiting beliefs, it's literally identifying them and then figuring out how to move past them. So, getting rid of things. And in the backyard here, it's much the same. To transform this backyard, to start, is really about cleaning up a lot of the things that are around here. I started yesterday, and just like taking a closer look at what's happening in this backyard, just because of having some free time. And it's there's a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of kind of detritus. Is that the right word? Sticks, pine needles, leaves, we do our best to clean up as much as we can within our capacity, and sometimes that's not very much. So getting clear on what needs to be taken out, right? The other piece of it is also just giving the space to know that it's something that will take time. Because like it's not a large backyard, but it's enough. It's more than enough to do in one day. We actually had a swing set like right here, and I removed that yesterday. So it's just that like one piece at a time. If I were to say I want to get the swing set out to clear up some space and then start working on everything else, clear up all the brush, pick up all the pine needles, get rid of those, pick up all the sticks, all in one day, that would be like a lot. That would be a lot. So much the same way as when you're doing your like personal work and self-discovery and personal development, you're not going to do all of it in one day. What happens is there's layers. There's layers, there's steps, and sometimes those steps are not clear to you, but that's where, again, human design and hypnosis comes in. So hypnosis is really great at reframing and helping you identify the context in which you're experiencing and interacting with your world. So looking at limiting beliefs through self-talk, like the things that we tell ourselves that hold us back. Like I'm not a good writer. I'm not made to be on camera. I'm not meant to be on camera. What other limiting? Like, oh, I'm not a math person. I don't know. People don't think I'm funny. All of those things. These are like things like narratives that we tell ourselves, and that feeds into the ultimate story that you tell yourself. And that story basically defines who you are. So one thing to look at is to identify pieces of the story that you're telling that are not serving you, right? So beliefs are things that you believe. They're not true inherently. They're only as true as you believe them to be. So when you can understand that if you have a belief and you can pause and say like, is this belief useful for me? If the answer is it's not useful, then you can find a new belief. The other part of that is the hidden limiting beliefs, the things that you're not immediately aware of that kind of feed into like habits and automatic behaviors. And working through that, that can also be reframed with hypnosis through hypnotic work. That's where you bypass the critical faculty, unlock the dream gate. I'm kind of in this place where I'm not sure if I'm going to continue playing with the language. I love it. And then it just also feels like a lot to kind of like introduce new lingo. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, like I'd love to make it my own and make it a little bit fun. So we'll see where that lands. No attachment. we'll just go where this takes me. So then human design comes in here with the themes of the energy centers. These are 9 energy centers with broad themes, and with these themes, they almost like, I'm not going to say that they lay out every single problem that you could experience, because of course there's flavor and nuance in all of that. And at the same time, it gives 9 really great places to start. And oftentimes, either these things come up in layers, or they come back in different ways. It's kind of like that repetitive cyclical nature of life and of how we kind of like move through things, right? Oftentimes getting from one place to another is in a straight line. It's like we make rounds and kind of we learn things, and then we end up in similar situations. We apply the new learnings to those situations, and then we have a new result. And then we might move on, and another layer might come up. Another layer might come up that I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like thunder, which is pretty cool. We'll check back. but it's like the cyclical nature, like you're always going round and round and round and round, but you're basically applying the same lessons or new learnings to old situations, and when you move past them, then you get to experience new situations. And that's kind of where like the time comes in. It's just like I wouldn't imagine doing like cleaning up this yard all by myself in one day after, I don't want to say how many years, but after, you know, some time of disarray, right? So just as it's not reasonable to do all the cleanup in one day, it's also not reasonable for you to expect to have no more experience of the things that were bothering you in the past. It's not to say that you can't significantly shift them, because you can. You can move past those things. And what makes it more real is living in and experiencing in those feelings, those like looking at things in a new way, long enough, often enough, that it just becomes your new reality. Hypnosis can move that along really nicely, and that's one of the really wonderful, magical things about that. Once you stop, oh, once you stop just like limiting yourself, then that's where you can start moving freely. And that brings me to the last phase of the Haizhen transformation, which is brilliance. This is where you shine. This is where you polish up. This is where you step out into the world in the way that you want to show up. And this is as much as the first part, starting at seeing clearly, then feeling into it. The third part is stepping out. And what does that look like? Well, for leaders, that could look like, leaders and emerging leaders, what that could look like is, how do you show up in a resume in the usual ways, a resume, a cover letter, and an interview? How do you show up in those spaces, authentic and also fit for the role type of thing, right? So there's taking a look at how all of that kind of fits in and how you can shine and polish up. The other way of appearing is just appearing in general. So whether it's in person, like with in-person interactions, or if it's, oh, it's starting to rain. We're going to keep going. Whether it's in-person interactions or online on social media, there's different ways of showing up and showing up authentically. Even though they're kind of different environments, there's kind of principles that tie across all of these things. So that's kind of the third step out here as well, is to kind of like clean up. And then once all of the stuff is cleared out, then we can start adding things back. We can start making it nice. We can start making more and more, and then making this place really shine. So I don't know if this is a sign from the universe to stop talking, because sometimes I could get rambling. So this is a nice, let's cut it off here. I really like thinking about things in that metaphorical sense, looking for those patterns that in my exterior, outer reality that reflect back my internal states and my internal thought process. And that's where like the Haizhen transformation will come in, taking you from burnout to brilliance. So let's get inside before all of this gets too wet.